Hello.
How's it going?
So today we're gonna talk about which crypto firm will follow Coinbase Circle into the public markets. It looks like there's a lot of cryptocurrency companies that are interested into getting listed in the stock market to gather funds, and there's a long list of companies that are getting in and getting listed on the stock market, which is an interesting development. Some companies used to use their coins to gather funding, and that was their main way to be able to basically capitalize themselves. But it seems like recently we have been having the switch towards the stock market. It may be due to the fact that the stock market has been doing really well. It may be due to the fact that it's another way in which you can capitalize your company, you can get more capital in, and you have greater exposure, of course, of capital, since stock market is still much bigger than cryptocurrencies. Go ahead.
A lot of companies that were doing initial coin offers and stuff like that have been under regulatory pressure. A lot of the people who are looking to go public now, these are like more legitimized companies, more regulated companies, like bigger players that aren't going to, risk their entire company to try and do a coin offering when the stock market's available.
Yep. Yeah, that's interestingly enough, I've seen also a lot of companies that do not have or already have their coin, for example. One of the biggest that I know of that doesn't have a coin is, for example, Coinbase, which that didn't, of course, have their own coin because of the regulatory reasons that you talked about. But for example, Ripple, they have their own coin, but they are considering going public, which is interesting, since they used to use Ripple as their main funding or main a way in which they could capitalize their company and get more cash in. So it's interesting that also companies that offered or did sorts of ICOs in the past are now basically getting listed. So it's an interesting development from my point of view. But yeah, definitely the regulatory problems that you would have by doing an ICO in 2021 are quite big. So I understand the take to get listed in the stock market. But like going forward, cryptocurrency firm with 10 billion in funding getting up to go public, and this is blocked at one. Basically, they want to come out with Bullish, which is a trading platform, cryptocurrency exchange, portfolio holder, portfolio manager. You can call it however you want, really. And they also say that they're gonna have the decentralized finance functions. Also, Coinbase is gonna come out with these functions, but it's interesting that we're getting more and more of this regulated exchanges that are getting out there, that have a lot of money. So it's definitely interesting how the cryptocurrency exchange game is changing since Coinbase got listed in the stock market. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a pretty cool thing to see. It's just more and more companies coming in to compete. The more companies coming in to compete, they'll make each other better. The best will eventually, take over. Right now, there really isn't a good crypto exchange. I mean, we have some that are better than others, but they're all kind of crappy. So the more and more big money that comes in, the more and more players that come in, I mean, eventually, it's just going to make trading this market better, right? And plus, having like regulated people coming into DeFi, these big companies that may be able to offer products for institutions, it's just more money for the market as a whole, not just Bitcoin.
Yep. Venture arm of Thailand's oldest bank says DeFi will disrupt traditional finance, and we have been already talking about this in the past on the show, about how DeFi is going to be an important piece of the future and the future of finance in general. And it looks like CM Commercial Bank venture capital's arm, is getting more and more interested into DeFi and investing into DeFi and understanding how DeFi works. And what they're mainly interested in is we would like to partner with DeFi. This is one of the statements. We would like to partner with DeFi protocols to work together. To solve the issues in traditional finance, to reduce costs of operations, have real-time settlements, which DeFi has, eliminate intermediaries, which of course DeFi has, as well as have a high level of transparency, which DeFi have. So it's interesting how banks and institutions that are already in the big financial quote unquote game are getting interested into DeFi, and they're seeing the potential coming from the cryptocurrency market at large and DeFi especially. So what do you think?
Yeah, again, I just see nothing but good things coming from more and more big players getting involved. I don't think DeFi is going to completely take over the traditional sector, but it's a big sector and there's a lot of room for it to come in. So I think it's gonna continue to grow. It's gonna get a bigger and bigger piece of the pie, and it's good for anyone who's invested in crypto, especially good products.
Yep. Hopefully, maybe one of these days, some of this news will actually have an impact on price. It looks like we are kind of not doing anything, even though we're having interesting news come out. It's like pretty bullish news come out, and nothing still is happening. I guess the consolidation is gonna last a lot longer, so we'll see. But going on with a little bit more gossipy news of the day, Israeli authorities seize cryptocurrency transfer from Hamas. So it looks like Hamas was getting a little bit of that crypto, clout. He was getting a lot of donations in crypto, and the Israeli government authorities stepped in, and they were like, no, you can't get it. So they seized a lot of donations that were sent to him. They seized Bitcoin, Tether, Ether, and XRP, and more, and other cryptocurrencies. So even Hamas is, embracing cryptocurrencies. It's interesting how even these organizations are getting interested in cryptocurrencies more so than in the past, which is of course not good in a sense, but good in another sense, because with crypto you can track any transaction, right? You can see where money is going, and that's a good thing about it. If you're trying to do something bad with that money, people are gonna find out. The only way in which people are not going to find out is if you use privacy coins. We have Monero, we have other privacy coins that you can use, but as of right now, Bitcoin and the other major cryptos are easily trackable. So you have to be, you don't want to donate this money this way, right? You want to do it with privacy coins. But regardless of that, which is just memeing and joking, this is definitely interesting that even governments are getting better and better at tracking these transactions, and they're getting they're easy to catch. Like people that are using these coins and that are trying to do nefarious things, quote unquote, they're getting catched quite quickly. So the argument of Bitcoin being used for laundering money, illegal transactions, donations to terroristic organizations, no longer valid. So what do you think?
At least not Bitcoin.
At least not Bitcoin, yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Totally. I definitely can't support using crypto to do like any form of violence.
Yeah, of course.
But it's interesting to see these groups embracing it and trying to use it. I don't really know if they were using what kind of crypto they were mostly using, but yeah, Bitcoin is very easy to track if they're able to identify Hamas's wallets, any public blockchain. Then they can backtrack to see who's donating to them, and they will go after you. So yeah,
don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. I'm not necessarily the biggest supporter of Israel, but if you are against it, there's more peaceful ways to go about it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Going on the Bitcoin, what is happening with Bitcoin in the charts? I guess, well, if you look at it, nothing. That's the kind of the big
Sticking
happening. Yeah.
It's taking a big nap.
Yeah, big nap. Volume is decreasing. This is the interesting thing that is, well, the most interesting thing that has been happening in the last few days is that volume is decreasing. Volatility has been decreasing. If we would load up Bollinger Bands, you would see that they're squeezing. So we're getting a little bit of a squeezy squazzy on the Bollinger Bands, which is interesting. We'll see if we do get any type of movement anytime soon. My expectation is that August is not gonna be that big of a month. So maybe if we do get some sort of volatility, it's gonna be in July. Usually August tends to be a quite a not interesting month for Bitcoin. Not always, of course. There's different years. We have been having some volatility also in August to the upside. We have been having some pumps also in August in other years, but it tends to not be that big of a time in the markets at large in general. So we'll see, but definitely nothing big is happening. It seems like people are just either holding or not selling, or buying a little bit, selling a little bit. Nothing major is happening, and we're waiting, and probably this is gonna be one of the longest waits. It would be extremely interesting if we would have like maybe a week or so of going between 33 and 34. That would be really, really interesting. Last time we had such a squeeze, if I remember correctly, was right before at 9k. That was like one of the tightest moment when we were in July, actually, of last year. We had a similar squeeze where we went between 9,000 and 9,400 pretty much for like 8. What was it? Let me see. Was for pretty much 12 days straight of nothing happening, which also in timing would line up. So it would be interesting if we repeated the same pattern also this year. We'll see. It's gonna be definitely an interesting week of sideways action, and yeah. So I don't think there's anything to add about the markets. We have a little bit of some altcoins are doing well. We have CeeLo that is doing well today on my watch list. We have, what else is doing well? EOS is up a little bit. Aave is up at almost every day. It's going up a little bit. So Aave has been doing well. I think it's because of that news that we covered the other day about them getting their the institutional platform. So there is a little bit of interest into this coin, but mostly at large the altcoin market is going sideways. Another one of the big movers was KuCoin token, which actually went up quite a little bit last week, but we didn't really have any other big movers. Did you notice any other big movers last week, or
not really. I mean, Hathor yesterday, day before that, had a pretty nice move. That's one of those coins that I track. It's been correcting since. I think there's a couple other smaller ones, but yeah, for the most part, most of the market's quiet. There's always going to be outliers, coins that just randomly pump, or maybe not randomly. You could probably see it in the chart if you look hard enough, but there's always going to be something doing something if you look hard enough.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
That's why ABC always be scanning. You could. I mean, there's always something to trade, but for the most part, yeah, the market's been kind of quiet. I don't see any evidence of any breakout to either side happening imminently. Maybe next week that will change. Hopefully next week that will change, but I'm not holding my breath or anything. We could continue in this range for another couple of months, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. Never underestimate how long Bitcoin could go sideways. I mean, you get so many people that every time we go to the bottom of the range, they get scared, they start selling. Then we go to the top of the range, everyone gets excited, and they start FOMOing in and start buying, and those people just get chopped up. Crypto rewards the patience. You gotta be patient.
Well, we haven't seen the top of the range in already, what was it? A month. Yeah, a month or so we haven't seen it. So it's been quite a wait a bounce or even a move down or even anything. It's been quite not rewarding for traders, especially Bitcoin traders. Maybe short-term traders have been doing something. I'm not sure because of all the chop that's been going on.
I mean, if you're good at scalping, then I think this range has been great for you. I'm more of a swing trader, so I'm just buying the bottom here, and then you could take profits in the middle of the range if you want. You could wait for the top of the range. It just depends on your time scale, it depends on your strategy, it depends on how you're trading, right? But yeah, maybe it takes another month before we see the top of the range again. But yeah, I mean, right now it's just a waiting game, at least for Bitcoin. Some other coins are doing something, but
yeah, that's I think that's pretty much it for today. There's not much else to cover or to talk about, so we're gonna see you tomorrow.